I'm sure by now you've heard an awful lot about our league active. I'm sure a lot of it will be fact, some of it may be fiction. Well, hopefully we'll get the chance today to find out which is which. We're at Pilkington Rex in St Helens, home of one of the community clubs here, of course, and this could have a huge effect on how the community game goes forward. Rob Hicks is here with me, and of course I'm sure many of you will remember him from his days as a Super League referee, but these days, Rob, you ensure fair play in a different sort of way, don't you?
Yeah, new role now at the RFL, overseeing the operations and legal function in both the community and professional game.
So ideally placed, hopefully, to explain to us exactly what our League Active is all about. So let's start with the basics. What is it?
I suppose, in a nutshell, what it is the RFL making the community game more sustainable. There are a lot of services provided by the governing body to govern, administer, and to make the game safe. And until now, the RFL has funded that through various different funding pots. But as time has gone on, those costs have increased, and the funders say your game should be more sustainable. So that's what this membership scheme is all about. It's about making the community game sustainable. Okay,
so we've had the community game running for many, many years, apparently very successfully in a lot of cases. So why is it that we've got to this stage now that you've decided that you need to bring this scheme in?
It's a scheme that's been a long time in the making. I think I just said, I've been involved in the community game a long time, and I know the value of a volunteer. Every community club has a number of volunteers who put in endless amounts of hours unpaid. That has a huge value for our sport. It really does, and we're not trying to undermine that. But those volunteers require the governing body to produce rules, regulations, concussion protocols, deal with safeguarding, assist clubs make them safe, make them welcoming environments, and ultimately it allows them to put teams out on the field. And until now, they've never contributed anything towards that. As time has gone on, we've had debates about how we make that more sustainable. We've considered all kinds of options. We considered a lottery, but a lottery requires people to buy those tickets. That takes funding away from the clubs. If we did that, it might not be sustainable very long term. So we've had to find a way that makes the game sustainable, that as it grows and those costs continue to increase because you need more staff to cover those areas, the sustainability of that area of the game remains so.
Players at the moment pay subs to their clubs, obviously, so why is this different? What's going on?
And I think that's a key point, that players already pay and the clubs need that money to keep them sustainable, but the clubs take a lot of services from the RFL, whether that be fixtures, referees, insurance, concussion protocols, anything that basically keeps people safe. And more importantly, probably for youth and junior people, the safeguarding function, risk assessing people's suitability to work with the sport. All those services have been provided for free by the RFL for a number of years. And the clubs have never paid anything back into the centre, not because they've never been asked to. And this is now about remedying that balance and making sure that those services are paid for services.
So people hearing this, parents, players, clubs, they might be thinking, yeah, okay, but they're panicking a little bit because it's going to cost them. How much is it going to cost them?
Well, it starts at £12 for juniors and it goes to a maximum of £24. And I accept that on the face of it, people will say, sounds a lot of money in one hit. But if you equate that over a year, it's £1 a month to make sure that your child is playing a safe sport, that if there was something that went wrong, that the governing body stands behind you and can help you, and that hopefully by doing all the processes and procedures that the governing body puts in place and spends money doing, we don't end up with those problems arising.
So a lot of people will be thinking, okay, what are we getting for our money here?
I'm not entirely convinced it's about what you get for your money. It's about the services that are already getting and making those services sustainable for the long run, to ensure that the sport had an insurance cover, that if there was an accident, he had some form of cover, to make sure that if there was something even worse happened, the governing body would be standing behind me and supporting me through whatever happened. Then I would pay that money for my child, and I do pay that money for my child. Indeed, most other sports pay money to the centre. They don't all pay it through an individual participant membership, but they do pay to the centre for all these services. And I do pay it as a parent in other sports. Rugby League, in a way, is late to the party on this. as I said to you, Sport England started this conversation in 2013. We have pushed and tried to find other ways around it. But really, this is now the time. We have to do this for the good of the sport, because we want the sport to grow and we want the sport to be better. The sport has to become more sustainable. All our partners say that, from broadcast all the way down to government. Everybody says core activity of sport should be funded by the people who play it. There will be some benefits. We've already talked about those, some prizes that you can get. The England head coach, for example, to come and take your training session one week, and lots of other things and discounts that we're trying to work on to make this a benefit as well. But it is ultimately about making the game sustainable.
Big question then for a lot of people here is going to be who's paying? Is it going to be parents? Is it going to be players? Is it going to be clubs? And what about those people who simply can't afford it?
And it is an individual membership, so it will be the individuals who are playing the game or their parents who pay that membership direct to the RFL. If you can't afford to pay it, then you need to speak with your clubs. We've been working with those over a number of months, and there's ways forward there. What we've worked out is that some clubs would prefer to pay for all their members and then pay the centre that money themselves. So there will be a system whereby if a club is paying for its members, that the individual can get the club to do it on their behalf.
So clubs are going to have some of their own arrangements with various members, the idea being that, fingers crossed, nobody gets left out.
That's the whole purpose of this. We don't want anybody to feel left out or not able to register. But the people who are gaining the benefits of this membership are the individuals who get to play the sport, and it's important that they pay that membership.
Well, Rob, thanks very much indeed for your time. Hopefully that's some of your questions well and truly answered.